So, oh yeah. So we got two votes. One person was in the UK, and one person was somewhere else. So where are you all now?
I'm in France,
Ah,
in
cool.
Montpellier. Yeah, in the south of France, yeah.
George,
I'm in the UK,
you're the one.
but actually I'm about to go to the south of France
Yeah.
for my teaching thing.
Cool. When are you off?
On the 1st of October, I'm going to Po in Aquitaine.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Excellent. Rosie, where are you now?
France, I'm in Poitiers.
Cool. I'm getting quite jealous now. And Alicia, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Ah, good, good. Oh, sorry, you're Alicia. I got confused. Right. So, Izzy, where are you then?
Yes, I'm still at home currently.
Ah, cool. Right. Now, is that everybody? George. And Lorna and Rosie, where are you guys?
Yeah, I'm in France. Lorna's not coming up on the screen.
Right. See if she can.
Sorry, I can't get my webcam to work.
Ah, right. But you can hear us and.
Yeah.
All right then. Cool.
I'm still in the UK as well.
Ah, dear. What's the weather like at the moment?
It's actually quite good.
Cool. Excellent. It's here it's where are we going? There it is. Here it's quite cold for Thailand today. 24 degrees.
Wow, it's freezing for summer.
All right. Yeah. So today we're going to do a bit of a warm up, and then we're going to talk about the things that you made notes on from the unit, with mini questionnaire, speaking, the writing, and then any questions about the course so far. So the first one is I'm going to try and put you into breakout rooms. Okay. So, right. Yeah, that should be right. Okay. So Alicia, Lorna, and George, you'll be in room 1, and Izzy and Rosie, you'll be in room 2. So just like to talk to each other for a few minutes and find out 2 things that you have in common with each other. Does that sound okay? All right. So you should get a message asking you if it's okay to put you in a room, and then you click OK. Ah, Rosie, did you not get a message asking to put you in a room? Ah, there you go.
Write journal, poetry, stuff like that. Reading, walking in nature.
And I'm going to be teaching in Austria.
Oh, cool.
So,
Nice.
know what year group you have?
I am teaching primary school.
Okay.
So they're I think they're 5 to 11.
Oh, I've got 10 to 18s. We overlap on the 10 to 11s though.
Yeah, we've got a year.
Yeah, I mean, we're like...
It's hobbies and stuff.
How about you, Lorna?
I do piano as well.
Okay.
So that's one thing anyway.
All right, so that's three of us then.
Definitely. Three of us who did piano. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm on breakfast.
It's pretty early.
Mm.
Okay, and where are you from?
Me, the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, the UK. Okay, which city are you from?
Okay.
Yeah.
Lorna.
Northern Ireland.
Okay.
Right, so I guess we're kind of all from the UK then.
Yeah, I guess we are. And we will play piano.
We were both in piano, and right, what else do we do? What do you? Where have you been on holiday?
France a lot.
France, yeah.
Yeah. And I've been to Canada,
Mm.
to Algeria.
So you study French and German?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
I do French and... Sorry.
French and
I do French and history.
history. Okay. Now that sounds. How is that at Oxford? Do you do much literature? I went to like an open day kind of thing.
Yeah.
You do a lot of the French stuff.
Yeah, it's like pretty much all of my French papers are literature, and then there's like compulsory grammar ones.
Right.
Yeah, so most of mine is literature. Like there are linguistics and stuff, but I didn't want to do that.
Which would be that'd be interesting. So what are we feeding back? So we're both studying
Oh, but it's lovely.
Yeah. All right.
In a school?
Yeah. Me. Yeah. So
Like what? Sorry, what type of school?
What me? Yeah. I think you're talking to. Anyway, right. It's called Lycée Campa or Lycée Gabal. I've got two schools, and one's just down the road. One's called Lycée Campa. I spend most of my time there. It's for 16 to 20-year-olds, so it's kind of like a kind of college sort of thing.
I'm at a lycée as well.
Oh yeah, cool.
Where are you going to be working, Lorna?
It's like a small town near the German border. It's called Biche, I think it is. Like, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but
Okay.
Great. Who are we missing? We're missing Alicia.
I'm here now.
Ah, okay. And Oh, I see. It's just hidden your camera at the top there. All right, then. Cool. Okay, so breakout room 2. What did you guys find out that you had in common?
Do you want to go? Shall I?
You can go. It's fine.
Well, we're both studying French at university in one form or another. I'm doing French and German, and Izzy's doing French and history. And we're both taking part in, or will be taking part in, our year abroad at the moment. So.
All right, then. Cool. So are you doing any linguistics then? Or is-
Not well, not as much as I'd like, but yeah, no, we're still trying to sort out options and stuff. French universities aren't as organised as ours.
Oh, right. I would see in France for that year. Yeah, I was
For the first semester.
arrived at university in France. So, like, what a shambles it was. Mind you, that was 1992 or something. So things were probably a bit different.
It hasn't got better. If it's different, it's not better.
All right. Sorry to hear that. It was quite fun though.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. And you guys from breakout room 1, what did you find you had in common?
So that was our room, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We found out we had we were all teaching in France, and we're all teaching at lycées,
All right.
and also we were like piano, like playing piano.
So,
We all like to play piano.
oh, really?
We're all interested in piano.
Cool. All right, then.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks very much. So, so the first thing was the mini questionnaire. Right. So the idea was to pick one of these or something else and to think of 5 questions. It was 5, wasn't it? Yes. Which would help you to find out about your students in that subject area. Okay. So, right. Is there anybody who would like to give their 5 questions? So, for example, what's I thinking? So maybe something like that for daily routines. Oh, dear.
Well, I actually brought the wrong questionnaire with me, I think. But
Oh, right.
it doesn't matter. I could probably answer one on, say, music. I could say, for example, with music, I could go, have you done any exams in music? What instruments do you play? What music do you like to listen to? Have you played in a band before? And have you been to any festivals? Music festivals.
Cool. Do you know, in Europe, do they have the same kind of like grade exams as they do in England? All right.
I don't know, I'm afraid. I think they probably do. I can imagine they have probably something like it. I know they obviously have they have quite a strict system of exams in the UK.
Yeah.
Where I went through. But I can maybe at school. They may if they have music lessons at school. In France at the lycées or
Yeah.
yeah. But it's a good question. I don't know actually.
Might be fun to find out. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thanks. Lorna, do you have any questions on these?
Just about the work one.
Right, cool.
Do you have a job? What do you think the advantages of having a part-time job are? What would you like to do in the future? Oh, sorry. I should probably say, what job would you like to do in the future?
I wouldn't have thought so. Because I think normally we say, what would you like to do in the future? You know, like when you ask somebody's job, you just say, what do you do? Rather than what job do you have? That kind of thing.
Okay. What are your parents' jobs? And then I couldn't think of a fifth one for that one. Sorry.
And what age would still be like high school students or?
Yes. Well, I'm going to a lycée, so it's I think 16 to 19.
Okay, yeah. So some of them might have jobs and part-time stuff and so on.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could have, what job would you not like to do? Or something like that. What job would you hate?
Okay.
To get the sort of a bit of emotion in the something they feel strongly about. Rosie, any questions for us?
I think I got the wrong question here too, but that's fine. So I guess hobbies.
Cool.
What do you like to do outside of school? Do you like to do that with other people? What hobby would you like to have in the future? I don't know, maybe something with past tense, like what did you used to do when you were younger or something? Because
yeah,
I'm kind of saying also.
Maybe
They
something
might
about how much.
they might think it's too cool to think about that, so I need to rephrase. But and I can't think of the fifth one, but that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe something about how much time they spend on their hobby, or on watching TV or something. Yeah, those are some very good questions. Great. All right. Now, still can't believe I can't move that around. All right, I'm gonna have to delete it then. So next, the speaking activities. Oh yeah, I had another poll, but I don't know how many of you will be able to see it. Okay. Try this one. See if it works any better. So you should be able to see a poll now about which activity did you make your notes on.
I can't see the poll again.
So Yeah. So still just two of you can see the poll. Oh, that's a shame. All right. Well, at least one of you's done the speaking and one of you's done the writing, so that's good. At least we have a nice mix. Right. The other program would tell me who gave what answer. And this one just tells me one of you did it. All right. So, this would be terrible procedure in a classroom to just sort of call out to everybody. But so who did the speaking activity and would like to talk about it?
I did the speaking activity. I wanted to work on role play, on how to organize a role play in a classroom.
Cool. So how would you personalize it and lead in, and sort of what kind of content would you use, things like that?
I suppose I could first of all make sure that it's about something that interests them, like something that they've already experienced or something like that, something they've already seen on the media or have gone through themselves. So it's not completely foreign to them, and maybe discuss the topic before going into the role play. And then I guess in terms of choosing roles, I could maybe ask them to personalize the roles a little bit. For example, if there's a shopkeeper and a client, then I could draw both on the board and ask them to, make up their names and a bit of their personality, so we could discuss the roles so that they feel more involved in it. And then I could give them, choose the role they want to play and maybe work on it for about 5 minutes before showing it to the class.
Cool. So yeah, some of those things that Teacher B said they did, they're like some visuals, and getting input from the students, but not just leaving everything up to them. That's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
I actually did the same, pretty much. It's a role play activity with the speaking activity. It was called Everyday Situations. And so it would give prompts for everyday situations. You could do, for example, shop assistant and customer. It could be a friends meeting or lovers meeting on a romantic date. It could be a ticket conductor, train station, and a waitress or a waiter with the customer. And then the students would take it in turns, in pairs, to kind of come up to the front of the class and create a conversation with these two roles. But obviously, they couldn't just do it straight away. So on the handout, I would put prompts to start off a conversation. Like, for example, I would say, put prompts like, "Oh, hello, how are you? My name," my name is this, or what have you been doing recently? Answer, I've been doing ... And this would kind of prompt them to then hopefully create conversations in front of the class.
Right. So the only problem I would have with that is having them come up to the front of the class each time.
Yes. Yeah.
Because then they don't have so many chances to speak. So I'd have them all doing it at the same time in their pairs. And then
okay. Yeah.
maybe like get one pair to do it for everybody afterwards, if they've done it really well. But the main work is when they're talking to each other. And you can go around and sort of monitor a bit and like write down any problems that people are having. But the main thing is that they get lots of practice and do lots of talking and stuff.
Yes, so you mean actually, if it was just the two in front of the class, it would be kind of they wouldn't all get the chance to actually say stuff at the same time. Yeah, okay. but those situations remind me. We used to. I haven't done it for ages, but I used to do like a dialogue
and it would be similar questions, you know, so where are you from and why, what are you doing here and things like that. And then we would come up with different situations like immigration or a date or, you know, two people talking to each other in a disco or things like that. And so they would read a very similar dialogue, but in a completely different way, depending on what was going on.
Yeah.
Cool. Anybody else got the speaking? All right then, cool. So I should show you mine. So I wanted to do the information gap because it's a really good activity and it's quite complicated to explain. So when we talk about it with a lot of teachers, they think it's the same as a gap fill. But the idea is that the two students have different things. So they both have a reason to talk to each other. So in this case, it's a text about two students, two Thai students. So to lead in and sort of get them interested, I'd show them a picture of a Thai couple and get them to try and guess, you know, if you look at this picture, what do you think they do? How old do you think they are? All that kind of thing. And then tell them they're going to find out, but they're going to have to ask each other to get the full picture. I would give out the A cards to half the class and the B cards to the other half of the class. Get the A students to work together to find out what questions they need to ask. So like the first one says Mackie was born in, so the question they would have to ask is where was Mackie born? And for B, it would have to be where did he go to school? So that kind of thing, they'd work on it in their groups to make sure they had the right questions. And then I'd model it by getting an A student to ask a question to a B student and the B student to answer, and then the B student to ask a question in front of everyone so that they get the idea. And then I'd put them in pairs, one A with one B. And then, or before that, concept checking questions. So, you know, can you look at each other's paper? What language should you speak? Things like that. And then have them do the exercise in pairs so they find out the information from each other. And then when they've finished, then they can look at each other's bits of paper to check they got the right answer. So yeah. Any questions about information gap? Because they're good. They're not very authentic, but they are great for getting speaking going and stuff. All right. So did I forget anything? Right. So yeah, CCQs, concept checking questions, or ICQs, instruction checking. All right. Now, the writing. So for the writing, there are all those different activities. So who would like to talk about one of the examples of the writing? Okay, now somebody put on the poll that they've done a writing.
That was me. Sorry, I'm trying to look between my notes and.
Okay.
So I would, depending on what level the class is and that kind of thing, what age group, I would probably either go for reproducing model text or like a discursive essay, I think. Because I'll be in a secondary school, so it's not authentic in that sense. Let's say reproducing a model text because you're reproducing something, but it's say the example given is a letter of complaint, so that's something that they may have to do. You could convince them that it's a useful skill that they'd have to have.
Right.
So, and it would probably be with the upper end of secondary, I suppose, depending on what kind of text you would use. Yeah, so if you could give them different texts and have them perhaps almost make it a writing and a speaking exercise in a way. So have them work half the lesson have them working on writing and reproducing their own text, and the other half looking at someone else's. Say someone gets a letter of complaint and another person gets a pen pal letter or something.
Ah, I see.
And then you'd cover two different models in a lesson, assuming that both students kind of grasp the activity. And you'd get feedback. So you would be giving them feedback probably as you go around in the lesson, and you'd monitor them and what they're doing. And then they would get feedback from their peers as well.
Right. So what would you do with them, like as a whole class? Would you talk about the letter of complaint or the pen pal letter, or each at one point?
Probably both. You would cover both briefly at the beginning of the lesson, just so that they're aware of kind of conventions, what a normal phrase is, that kind of thing. So they know what to look out for when they're feeding back to each other. And then in a plenary at the end of the lesson, you would sort of say, well, this group had very good ideas because they looked at this, this, and this.
And I guess you could do a thing about formal and informal language at the beginning, and then like half of them are writing a formal letter and half an informal letter. But then they can't swap, they can't communicate with each other with it or anything, can they?
Not while they're writing.
Yeah. Because if they were all writing pen pal letters, then they could swap letters with each other and then reply and things like that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that works.
Okay.
You could almost have, if you split it up differently, if you did one lesson on formal, one on informal, you could have someone writing a letter of complaint to a fake business or whatever, and then have the business reply, or that kind of thing. And then you could have pen pals writing to each other in the next lesson.
Cool. All right. Yeah, so then they're combining what you've taught them about formal and informal language, and then you're recycling it a different time.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Does anybody else have a writing lesson they worked on?
I did the essay.
Cool.
Even though I'm teaching primary school,
right.
So it probably won't be as relevant. But yeah, I thought to begin with I could do sort of the thing that they were suggesting of asking questions and sort of getting them to discuss and come up with some ideas for themselves, but in like a more structured way before they go straight into the essay question. And then for like the mobile phones one, I thought it could have some pictures of signs that would signal mobile phone rules, like keep your phone on silent or like turn it off or no flash photography, that kind of thing. And then sort of ask them what the signs show or what rules they signify, and then also like where they might see these rules, like what situations, and get them to sort of discuss that way. And then I think I do sort of like a combination of like splitting them off and talking to each other in pairs, and then sort of a more overall group class activity. And then as well, because the question sort of says, do you agree or disagree? So maybe you could do a sort of a table on the board where they have like an agree column and a disagree column, and get them to sort of discuss in pairs some answers, and then put them up on like the front of the board, so they've got some general ideas, but they've come up with them themselves. And I thought that I would do that before giving out any sort of model texts. So like they're not just taking ideas straight from other writing, but they're like thinking for themselves. And then I'd do a combination of like peer feedback and feedback from the teacher. So they could, because obviously it's an essay, so like that's quite a long thing to write. But I thought what they could do would be maybe like an introduction or a conclusion, or an introduction and a conclusion, and they could compare those, and then they could like choose their sort of top 4 arguments that they would put in an essay, and then like in the class, and then once they'd done peer feedback on that, sort of the basics of the essay, then they could go away and like write the full thing, or like depending on the age group obviously, and then that would be marked by the teacher.
Yep, that sounds fantastic. So yeah, the visuals is always great for getting them started. For the for and against points, you'd probably be fine like giving them one or two at the beginning and then eliciting them from the students. But yeah, getting them to work in pairs on it's great. And yeah, it seems a shame to spend too much time working on writing in class. But if you just give it to them for homework, it usually just doesn't happen. But if they start in class, if they write an introduction and a plan or something, and then for homework you finish it off, that can work really well. But, yeah, great stuff. And anybody else? Okay. All right. So I have writing one here. There we go. So this was an idea from the last starting teaching course I did. One of the course participants suggested, instead of writing a letter of complaint, that you could write a negative online review. So I thought if I was going to do that in class, if I had some teenagers or some higher level primary 10-year-olds or something, I'd start off by giving them an anecdote, telling them about how I went to a local restaurant recently and it wasn't very good, and why I wasn't happy about it. And then asking the students, what can you do about something like that? And if online reviews doesn't come up, then I would suggest it. And then get the students to talk to each other about a recent or disappointing experience they had in a restaurant, and to think about, and then start writing an online review in their pairs. And then I would bring out a handout with some real online reviews that have been written for local restaurants, ones that I'd picked out for, the grammar and spelling not being too bad, although you could work on the grammar and spelling. And then get them to do like a gist thing overall, which of these do you think is a more effective review, or, rate them from most positive to most negative, something like that. And then have the students go through and look for what do people normally say in an online review. So a lot of the times it's a story. It's like, this happened to us, we went there and this happened. And for useful language, so things like the service or the quality of the food or something like that. And then get them to rewrite their draft using the language and the ideas that they got from the set text. So like you said, you don't want them to just copy stuff from the model text. So if they write a draft first, then they're still going to want their ideas because they're their ideas, and that hopefully they should just move the language across. And then I'd put the reviews around the room, have the students go around, look at each other's reviews, and then pick one that they like and say why they like it. And for homework, if they like, they could actually post the review online because it's a real experience and a real local restaurant. they could actually go to TripAdvisor or something and put that online there. All right then. So, any questions about reading or writing tasks?
This is more sort of like an observation, but if it seems kind of better to do writing tasks based on kind of online things, then because obviously the basic response is to kind of create a writing task which is as a letter. Which is a letter of complaint, a letter of this, a letter of that, but no one really writes letters anymore. So it's quite good to have kind of other ways of doing it, like online things, so like texting, messaging, reviews online, that kind of thing.
Yeah, things more relevant to their real life. I don't really know if people write emails of complaint. They probably do, but if it's a restaurant, then probably an online review is more normal.
I've never done that myself before. Normally I just kind of, if I find a hair in my meal or something like that, or then I'll just not go to the restaurant again.
Yeah.
You know, I won't actually email them.
Yeah. So right, and then next will be right. So, are there any general questions about software? Okay. I know some people are finding it quite hard because, you know, some of you have moved to a new country or you're getting ready to move. And the course, I don't know, the first time I did an online course, it wasn't with the British Council and it was almost no work at all. Whereas this course is pretty hard. So, I can imagine that it might be a bit of a shock sometimes. So yeah. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And very interesting work.
Sorry, that about I wasn't here because I was in Thailand actually doing an English teaching thing over the summer, and I wasn't here for the first unit getting started.
All right.
Is there a way to go back and do that, or is it too late now?
So you can always go back and do the exercises, and you can look at the forum and look at the wikis and stuff like that. There's just not much point participating in the forum because
not the
nobody
forum,
else can see it. But yes, anytime you can always go back and look at things, do the exercise. That's not cool.
Yeah. But in terms of our grades, we've already been graded for that, have we? Like, there's no.
Oh no, that's fine. I'll do the grades at the end, and that'll take everything into consideration.
Oh, okay. Right.
And getting started doesn't really count for that anyway. It's just the main point is just to get you ready for doing the course.
Okay. Right.
Cool. Anybody else have any questions about anything? All right. Thanks very much for coming, and I'll see you online soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.